with Maria and welcome to SC Global News. From the appointment of 2 new bishops in China without papal approval to the announcement of new documentary featuring the late pontiff's last in-depth on-camera interview, we have many stories to cover. During the Papal Interregnum following the death of Pope Francis, China's state-sanctioned Catholic Church has appointed 2 new bishops, one in Shanghai and another in Xinjiang, without papal approval. This move challenges established Vatican norms and raises concerns about Beijing's growing interference in church affairs. Observers see this as a potential diplomatic test for the future 267th Pope and fragile Vatican-China agreement.
The official Catholic Church in China has elected 2 new bishops during a city vacante in a move that appears to openly defy the authority and norms of the Catholic Church hierarchy. The election of a bishop within the Catholic Church is a complex and highly regulated process. It involves the creation of a list of suitable candidates by local bishops, an investigation into the candidates by the papal legate and the dicastery for bishops, and finally the appointment by the Pope. The Code of Canon Law also clearly stipulates that no civil authority may intervene in the process of episcopal appointments. However, the recent elections in China defy these norms. On April 28th and 29th, priests, representatives of religious sisters, and lay delegates from the dioceses of Shanghai and Xinjiang, respectively, were summoned to ratify the selection of new bishops. Father Wu Jianlin, Vicar General of the Diocese of Shanghai, was elected as the new Auxiliary Bishop of Shanghai. Meanwhile, Father Li Jianlin was elected as the Bishop of Xinjiang. Each of these appointments presents its own challenges. Father Li Jianlin's appointment is especially contentious as the Diocese of Xinjiang already has a bishop, 67-year-old Joseph Zhang Weizhu, who was clandestinely appointed by Pope John Paul II in 1991. Bishop Zhang has been arrested multiple times for continuing his ministry without state approval and has remained in custody since his last arrest in 2021. Father Wu Jianlin's appointment in Shanghai also raises concerns as the diocese already has 2 auxiliary bishops. One of them, Thaddeus Mardakin, famously resigned from the Chinese Patriotic Catholic Association during his episcopal ordination in 2012, a move that led to his house arrest. These appointments have reignited debate over the efficacy of the 2018 provisional agreement between the Vatican and China. The agreement, which was recently renewed in 2024, aims to bridge the divide between the underground Catholic Church and the state-sanctioned church by giving the Chinese government a role in nominating episcopal candidates while reserving final approval for the Pope. Critics argue that the agreement has been repeatedly violated by China. Notably, the newly appointed bishops are seen as loyal to the Communist Party. Father Li Jianlin was one of the co-signers of a 2018 directive banning minors from attending Mass in Henan province. This unexpected move by the Chinese government is likely to be one of the first diplomatic challenges facing the next pope. Some observers see it as a calculated test by the Chinese Communist Party to assess how the Church's future leadership will navigate relations with Beijing and whether the Vatican will uphold its authority in the face of growing pressure.
On May 1st, during an interfaith event in the White House Rose Garden celebrating the National Day of Prayer, President Donald Trump signed an executive order establishing a Religious Liberty Commission. President Trump has appointed Bishop Robert Barron of Diocese of Vienna and Rochester to serve on the Religious Liberty Commission.
President Donald Trump has appointed Bishop Robert Barron of the Diocese of Winona-Rochester to serve on the Religious Liberty Commission. The executive order establishing the commission was signed during a National Day of Prayer event in the White House Rose Garden on May 1st. According to a White House fact sheet, the commission will focus on parental rights and religious education, school choice, conscience protections, attacks on houses of worship, free speech for religious entities, and institutional autonomy. In an ex-post, Bishop Robert Barron thanked President Trump and stated that freedom of religion in the country has been a central concern of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops for decades. The bishop added, quote, "I see my task as bringing the perspective of Catholic social teaching to bear as the Commission endeavors to shape public policy in this matter," end quote. According to the Daily Wire, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick will serve as the committee chair and Dr. Ben Carson will serve as vice chair. Besides Bishop Barron, other commission members include Ethics and Public Policy Center President Ryan Anderson, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, Pastor Franklin Graham, Pastor Paula White, Alison Ho, and Rabbi Meir Soloveichik.
Sister Aya Kabaro Lucas of Brazil, recognized as the world's oldest person, has passed away at the age of 116. In 2018, she received a blessing from Pope Francis and credited her remarkable life to daily prayer and unwavering faith in God. The world's oldest person, Sister Aya Kabaro Lucas of Brazil, has died at the age of 116. According to Longevity Quest, Sister Aya was born in 1908 and became the oldest person in the world after the death of the previous holder of the title, Japanese woman Tomiko Ituka, in December 2024. Sister Aya received the blessings of Pope Francis in 2018 and stated that the secret to her longevity was daily prayer and faith in God. According to RBS TV in Brazil, Sister Aya's relatives and community members also attributed her long life to her self-discipline, positive attitude, gratefulness, and good humor. Answering the call to consecrated life, Sister Aya joined Teresian sisters at the age of 19. She taught subjects like Portuguese, mathematics, science, history, and religion in various schools. Interestingly, Sister Aya was a soccer enthusiast and a big fan of the Sport Club International soccer team. The team posted a condolence message for their ardent fan on Platform X, hailing her legacy of spirituality and compassion. The title of the oldest living person will now pass to 115-year-old Ethel Caterham from Surrey in England. Pope Francis was honored at a special commemorative session held at United Nations headquarters in New York on April 29th. Global leaders gathered to pay tribute to the late pontiff's legacy of peace, compassion, and interfaith dialogue. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres remembered him as a man of deep faith and steadfast advocate for the world's most vulnerable.
The United Nations convened a special commemorative session on Tuesday, April 9th to pay homage to Pope Francis. The session, held at the UN headquarters in New York, brought together global leaders to mourn the death of the late pontiff and honor his legacy. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres remembered His Holiness Pope Francis as a man of deep faith and a bridge builder among all faiths. In his remarks at the commemoration, Guterres extended his deepest condolences to the Catholic community and to all those around the world grieving the Pope, whom he described as a steadfast friend of the United Nations. UN flags outside all UN offices were flown at half-mast to honor Pope Francis, the Supreme Pontiff of the Catholic Church, who passed away on April 21st, Easter Monday, due to a stroke followed by cardiac arrest. The late pontiff was 88 years old at the time of his death. Pope Francis served as the head of the Catholic Church for 12 years. Before ascending to the papacy, he ministered in the slums of Buenos Aires, an experience Guterres recalled during his address to the General Assembly. Guterres noted that these early encounters with poverty and marginalization helped the Pope's conviction that faith must drive action and social change. Guterres also reiterated the late pontiff's warning against the globalization of indifference and highlighted his tireless advocacy for world peace. He cited Pope Francis's visits to conflict zones including Iraq, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Reflecting on the Pope's regular calls to the Holy Family parish in Gaza City, Guterres emphasized the personal and profound ways the late pontiff championed peace. The permanent observer of the Holy See to the United Nations, Archbishop Gabriel Carcia, also addressed the General Assembly. He said that the best way to commemorate Pope Francis is to carry forward his torch of hope and to rediscover the spirit that led to the founding of the United Nations, working together for a better world for future generations. Pope Francis is interred at the Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. The Catholic Church is currently observing its official 9-day period of mourning for the late Pope, even as preparations begin for the next papal conclave.
Just days after Pope Francis's funeral, American filmmaker Martin Scorsese announced a new documentary that will include the Pope's final on-camera interview. The film, announced on April 30th by Aldida Scholars Film and Scorsese Sicilia Productions, will also spotlight the work of Scholars Occurrentis, the non-profit organization founded by Pope Francis. Filmmaker Martin Scorsese announces new documentary featuring Pope Francis's final in-depth on-camera interview. Aldeas, a new story, will feature conversations between Scorsese and the Pope and the educational movement the late pontiff founded. The documentary will underline the work of Scholas Occurrendis, the non-profit Pope Francis created in 2013, which aims to create a culture of encounter, bringing young people together in an education that generates meaning and transform the current education system. Part of the organization's work has included filmmaking under the Aldeas initiative. The documentary will show young people in Indonesia, Gambia, and Italy taking part in the program and making short films. Before he passed away, Pope Francis described Aldeas as a deeply poetic and profoundly constructive project, as it explores the foundation of human life, our social nature, our conflicts, and the very essence of human journey. Aldea Scholars Film and Scorsese Sicilia Productions, which announced the film on April 30th, said the documentary would be a testament to the enduring belief that creativity is not only a means of expression but a path of hope and transformation. The release date of the film was not announced. Scorsese met Pope Francis numerous times over the years. He shared that it was important to Pope Francis for the people across the globe to exchange ideas with respect while also preserving their cultural identity, and cinema is the best medium to do that. When Pope Francis passed away on April 21st, Scorsese remembered the Holy Father as a remarkable human being who will be missed. He shared that the loss for the world is immense, but the Pope left the light behind and it can never be extinguished. That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.